For the obturator nerve glide, you're going to need something to elevate your rear foot. I'm going to use this medicine ball, but it will be different for different people because the position will be slightly different for folks in terms of how they feel the intensity of the actual tensioning sequence. So for me, I'm going to elevate with the ball. Now you're going to get into a half kneeling position that looks very similar to if you were going to stretch your quad. And once you're into that position, you're going to go through a sequence of movements. The first one is going to be a posterior pelvic tilt. So that means I bring my belt buckle towards my head. Then I'm going to come forward into hip extension, and then I'll dance my foot all the way over to the side because then I want to come out to the side to bring my leg into what's called abduction. So my leg goes away from my midline. Now I'm in position to lengthen up and round my back all the way down to the low back, and I'll feel a nice gentle stretch on the inside of my thigh. Should feel, remember, a 3 out of 10 in intensity is what we're looking for. And from here, I can drive from the hip with small circles in both directions. If a circle is a little bit difficult at first, instead of a circle, you can create a line. So that means I'd be moving forward and backwards. Nerve glides are very individual, as I mentioned before. If I had something to elevate my foot on that was too high, I'd be in a position that felt like I was aggressively stretching my hip, and it would make it so that I couldn't get into the tensioning position appropriate to my body's needs. So you need to explore that. Let's say you get into the position and you don't feel anything. That probably means that you do need to focus on more hip extension and more of a posterior pelvic tilt, in which case you might elevate your foot higher than I'm showing you here. So maybe it has to go on the wall, or maybe it has to go on a bench or something like that. However, if you're somebody that gets into this position that I'm showing you here and it's too aggressive, you feel too much of a stretch, say maybe a 6 out of 10 in intensity, then the first thing that I would probably suggest you do is, instead of elevating your rear foot, you get into a half kneeling position right here with your foot on the ground, laces to the floor. Now I can go into posterior pelvic tilt, hip extension, hip abduction, round my back, and this might be more appropriate for what you need based on feeling a stretch that was too aggressive. Another consideration, if you're into the position and you're not really feeling the stretch sensation that you're looking for, is once you're in the position, you can explore moving your trunk, because that will sometimes help. So in this case, I would have somebody laterally bend away from the target side, and I already feel a little bit of increased stretch sensation, and you can combine that with rotating away from the target side, and I'm still flexing. Now I feel a really nice mobilization in the target area, which in this case will be anywhere from the front of the leg to inside through the adductor region.